Hey guys, just a quick video to say hey, how you doing? What is going on? As you can see, I'm not in one of those pretty locations that I have been in before. I'm not even in the back garden because the weather is ridiculous. It's raining actually, that's totally exaggeration. Total exaggeration. It's just raining, so I'm not going to stand outside because I just straightened my hair. Not that I'm vain or anything. But yeah, just wanted to say hey and see how you guys are doing. Yeah, and just share a little bit about what has been going on in the past week or so. It's only been a week. It feels more like 3 weeks. I'm very aware that I haven't posted in a while. So yeah, hey, hope you're good. Hope your family is good. And yeah, we're like fast heading into week 5, I think. But then I'm not sure because I've seen on the news that some people are like, it's week 8. And I'm like, when did you start your lockdown? Because so I don't know, whatever week you're in, like I know some of us started lockdown earlier than others, whatever week you are in, I hope you're blessed. I hope you're happy. I hope you are digging deeper into the word and finding time with God. Because, yeah, this is the time where we really need to dig deep. And I think this week God has been teaching me a lot about trust. It's really easy to trust when things are going well, right? Really easy to trust when things are going well, and really easy, I think, sometimes to trust inanimate objects more than we put our trust in people. I think for me, I find trust is a difficult thing. Yeah, and I think for a lot of us it is. When you're sharing your personal stuff, when you're being vulnerable with someone, you want to know that they would keep hold of that and they would carry it with them and not necessarily broadcast it everywhere, that kind of thing. So yeah, we make loads of decisions about trust every single day. I mean, the chair I'm sat on right now, I trust that I will not fall off of it. I trust that it will uphold me until the end of this video at least. I have been snacking quite a lot during quarantine, so we will see. And yeah, feel free to cut and publish any you've been framed worthy clips during this video. But I want some of the cut if you get any money for it, if I'm on telly, all right? But yeah, I think we trust inanimate objects. You know, we trust that the fridge is going to be working overnight. You know, we've plugged it in. We trust that all of the food is going to be kept nice in there. You know, we trust our front door that is going to stay locked during overnight kind of thing. We trust it to open. We trust our keys to our front door to open our front door for us. Yeah, so we can put a lot of trust in inanimate objects. And I think God has really been teaching me this week a lot about trust, especially in my prayer journey and my prayer life, because let's face it, there's a lot of, sounds weird, but there's a lot of real things that we're praying for right now. There's a lot of imminent and immediate things that I know that I'm praying for, especially concerning people's healing and, you know, people going back to work and their protection and things like that. And for daily provision, you know, that you're going to be okay and heading out to the supermarket and getting what you need, you know, that your family and your friends are okay and things like that. There's a lot of real prayer requests right now. And yeah, I just wanted to encourage you because I think this past week has been, the struggle is real, but God is good. And it's been a struggle in places because I've been praying for things and for people. And in my mind, God hasn't necessarily answered the way that I would have loved him to answer. And I think you can get to a point where that is heartbreaking. But I've been taught so much this week that there is a wider plan that I can't even see. That when we surrender things to God, that we have to trust him with them. And I think when trust is an issue for you, you really find it hard to let go and let God. And that is what he is teaching me over this past few weeks, that, you know, when you surrender something, which all that means is put it in his hands and let him deal with it. When you pray about it and you put it before him and you surrender it, then you have to trust him that he's going to act and he's going to do something. And the answer to that prayer might not be the way that you want the answer to go. The answer to that prayer may be so much bigger than you imagine. Because I was thinking about it, we see like just a peripheral view of what is going on in the world. We can see in front of us, you know, the things that we read. We can see what's going on our social media. We can contact our friends and see what's going on in their life. We can see kind of this peripheral view, maybe a panoramic view. You can kind of look through your head. But the one thing we can't see is the aerial view of what God is doing. When God looks at us, he can look down and he sees the whole plan. He sees the whole of the universe, the whole of the time span from beginning to end. And he can see how that plan is being worked out and how it's being perfected. And I think that for me is a major learning thing, because how much do we put our trust in God? How much do we trust in him that the answers that we get are in his plan? You know, the answers that he is given are in his plan. The things that we have to let go of are in his plan, for just in his plan, and we don't always understand it. But I think even when we don't understand it, even when things are tough, we have to, one, remember that Jesus knows and he understands what we're going through. Understand that God is working out his plans for the good. And like what is happening in front of us, we have a choice whether we choose to carry on trusting God with the plan, or whether we turn away from it and get angry and get annoyed and, you know, have a little bit of a tantrum. And I guess thirdly, adding it to that, when we do have a tantrum and we get angry and we get annoyed and we get hurt because the way our prayers are answered aren't the way that we want them to be answered, God's big enough to handle that. I'm going to be vulnerable with you guys. I've been on my face before God this week and said, Lord, I really want this to happen. I really want this person to be good. I really want this person to be healed. I really want this situation to be sorted out. And maybe when he doesn't answer straight away, I'm like, Lord, do I need to petition you anymore? Do I need to ask again and again and again? And yeah, it says prayer and petition with thanksgiving in the Bible. I can't remember where the verse is, but I will dig it out for you. And he answers our requests and he loves us. But I think it's really hard when you are faced with a situation that you want to go so badly one way and it doesn't. But I don't want this to be like a God isn't answering prayer, because he definitely is. It's just not always in the way that we imagine. It's not always the way that we are thinking it will happen, because our thoughts aren't God's thoughts. We are minuscule in our thinking to the way that he thinks and the plan that he has for our life and the lives of other people. So yeah, things are getting real. People are getting they're getting sick, and people are passing away. But yeah, it's getting real, and it's super sad. And you can just be wrecked before God thinking, what on earth is going on with the world? But you also have this decision to make. Do you trust him? It's what God has been teaching me this week. And he said to me as I've prayed to him and petitioned for people, he's like, do you trust me? Because if you trust me, you have to trust the outcome that I'm giving. You have to trust that I'm taking care of people. You have to trust that I'm taking care of the situation. Even in the face of pandemic, you have to carry on trusting him. And you know what? On the flip side of things, when we don't see one prayer answered the way that we want it, sometimes we just completely forget what God is doing and the things that have gone the way that we want, the things God is doing. And I think really for me, I've learned this week that my prayers, he listens, he hears. Our prayers, he listens, he hears, and he answers. It might not always be the way that we want it to be answered, but he is answering. And he is moving. And while people, things with corona at the minute, it's real and it's bad. But God is still in it. He's still in the midst. There's still a point where he's saving people. There are miracles happening. But we have to look a little bit like our version of who he saves is very different to his version of who he saves. If we look at saving and salvation as, God raised them, they're healed and they're still in the world, that's great and that's an answered prayer. But have we ever flipped it and looked at God's taken that person to be with him, and that person probably wouldn't want to come back because they're dancing in the arms of Jesus? Yeah. So at the minute I'm saying this, I'm not even sure whether I'm going to put this online or not, because it is real. And yeah, it's been a struggle this week. But as I was thinking about this video, and I'm like, Lord, what am I going to say? And do you really want me to share that? That sometimes prayers aren't answered in the way that we want. Like sometimes the loved ones that we are praying for, the people, the friends of friends that we are praying for, sometimes they don't get healed. Sometimes they go to be with you, Lord God, and that's still an answered prayer. You still wrap your loving arms around these people and you still carry them home. It's just not the home that we imagine. And he gave me this Bible verse today, which encouraged me, because it's one of those ones that I have up everywhere. It's in my room, and you kind of glance at it and you read it and you move on. But it's been made more prominent today and this week for me, and it's the verse in Proverbs 3. You'll know it well. Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6, and it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight." And the key words that have just jumped out to me today are lean not on your own understanding. There are things happening in this world that we do not understand, that we may never understand, but it's not our understanding that we have to lean on. So if you are in a situation where you are praying and you're asking God for something and it doesn't seem to be happening, and you're just sat in the why, let God deal. Take a deep breath. Keep going back to him if you need to until he answers. But remember, we're not leaning on our own understanding. We might be devastated by the answer to our prayer, but we're not leaning on our own understanding. And we can continue to trust God that he has the best for us and he loves us, and we can choose to trust in him every step of the way. So yeah, we are living in tough times, guys. We are really living in tough times. It's why it's so important. Keep praying, keep moving forward, keep digging in, because you are here for such a time as this. This is it. This is the moment for which you were created. Yeah. It really is. And on the flip side of that, I'm so thankful to God, and I just praise God in the whole way, in all situations. You know, we might be struck down, but we're not destroyed. We keep on going. Yeah, and I think God has kind of said to me again and again, you know, this is how you fight your battles. You come to me and you come to me in prayer. You get to know me, in the word. You worship me, you listen to some worship jams and you sing it out. This is how you're fighting your battle right now. So even though you cannot physically be out there saving lives, big up to those who are. I mean, I think there's some incredible people that we know within team, but also outside of team, who are doing an amazing job in supporting this country, in supporting people, in loving on people, in treating people. Amazing. Honestly amazing. But what we can do from home is we can uplift them. We can be people who uplift them in prayer, who go before them in prayer. And yeah, this is what we can be doing from home, and just making sure that we don't leave Corona and this pandemic season of our lives the same way that we came. And I fully believe that God is going to use you and is going to bless you in the days to come, and inspire you with new things and lead you to new levels and new heights. So yeah, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. Love you guys. Bye.